welcome back to the online class. In this video, we are going to understand the second part of our lesson clauses. In this, we are going to understand adjective clause. In the previous video, you had seen noun clauses and their types, and I had given you the exercise and the answers for that exercise are here. These answers you cross check with your answers. I don't know what he wants. Here you have to underline object of the verb. It is not certain that he will come. Apposition to the pronoun it. He told me what had happened. Object of the verb. She replied that she would come. Object of the verb. How the thief entered is a mystery. Subject of the verb. Can you guess what she wants? Object of the verbs. Object of the verb. It feels that rain will not stop. Complement of the verb of incomplete predication. These are the verbs feels, seems, looks, become, is was where, fears. These are the verbs of incomplete predication. Then what he said was not true. Subject of the verb. She fears that she will fail. Complement of the verb of incomplete predication, and the report that 10 persons only were killed yesterday is untrue. This is apposition to the noun report. This is the report. So this is how our this exercise was. Now we are going to understand the adjective clause in this. First of all, we will write the definition. An adjective clause is a subordinate clause which contains a subject and a predicate of its own. So this line is telling it is common. This is the common you can say sentence in the definitions of clauses. What is a clause? Which has a subject and a predicate of its own, that is clause, and does the work of an adjective. Here we know what is adjective out of 8 parts of speech. So adjective is a word which tells more about any noun or pronoun. Which tells more about any noun or pronoun. So that is adjective. So now the clause which plays role of adjective is an adjective clause that we are going to understand, and so qualifies some noun or pronoun in the main clause. So we are going to understand how to identify an adjective clause by asking the question what kind, which one, how many and how much. So how to ask these questions and when to ask. Now let us understand this. You have to write words conjunctions which join adjective clause. This you have to write relative pronouns who, whom, whose, that or which. Thereafter relative adverbs when, where or why. Why they are adverbs? Because they tell about the time or about the place or the reason. This is why relative adverbs, and they are sometimes used for the adjective clause also. How? That we are going to understand. Who, whom, whose, that or which. These describe a noun. This is why these are relative pronouns. Now examples. This is the story. First one example. This is the story that he told us last evening. Now you see that he told us last evening. This underlined group of words is a clause. It has a subject and predicate of its own. He is the subject here. Told us last evening is the predicate. It has its own finite verb. So this group of words is describing the noun story. This is the story. Which story? This is how you have to ask the question. Which or which one, and the noun which is antecedent to the adjective clause, to the clause. Antecedent means what? The noun which comes before the clause, before that clause, and that clause describes that noun. So here that he told us last evening, this is telling which story, which one, which story that he told us last evening. So this is the story. So This adjective clause is describing the noun story, telling more information about story. Which story? What is the story? That here it is not telling. Okay, what is the story? It is telling which story. So which one? Which story? That he told us last evening. That story. Now second one, the girl whose ring was lost is my friend. The girl is my friend. This is main clause and the girl is the noun here, which is antecedent to the adjective clause, means the noun which is coming before the adjective clause. So this adjective clause, underlined group of words, this is describing to the noun girl. The girl whose ring was lost is my friend. Which girl whose ring was lost? This girl is my friend. Third one, he is the boy who has stolen your book. He is the boy. Which boy? Which boy? Who has stolen your book? That boy. He is the boy who has stolen your book. So this is describing the antecedent boy. Antecedent means which comes before. Fourth one, the book of which. Sometimes of which, in which, by which. Some combination of preposition and pronoun will also come. So that also you have to consider into the adjective clause. The book of which the leaves were torn. The book of which the leaves were torn. Here instead of leaves you should take pages, or you understand this word as pages. The book of which the leaves were torn was thrown away. So here the book is the antecedent, and of which the leaves or the pages were torn. This clause is describing our noun, the book. Which book? So this is the adjective clause. Adjective clauses don't have any different types like noun clause. Adjective clause has only one type. So here easily we can understand the adjective, the clause which defines its antecedent means a noun in the main clause is the adjective clause. Now fifth one, the time when the chief guest will arrive is not known to us. So here which time? Which time when the chief guest will arrive is not known to us. What time not? Which time? So which time it is when the chief guest will arrive? That time is not known to us. Now this is the place where my friend lives. Which place? Which place is this? This is the place where my friend lives. So here the adjective clause is starting with when and where also. And in adverb clauses also we will see when and where these relative pronouns, these relative adverbs will appear. In adverb clauses also these will appear, these will be used, but you should not be confused. You should understand that this clause is describing like adjective. Describing, it is describing, giving more information about a noun. So if the clause gives more information about a noun, it is adjective clause. Here we have to understand it. This is the place where my friend lives. This clause is giving more information about its antecedent place, the noun place. The noun place is described by this adjective clause. Now seventh one, the reason why her husband divorced her is not known. The reason, here which reason why her husband divorced her. This clause is also starting with the relative adverb why. Okay, in adverb clauses also we use why, but its function is different. Here the function of this relative adverb and the clause which is starting with this relative adverb is the function of adjective, because it is describing the noun reason, the antecedent. What is the reason is not given here. What is the reason that is not given here? Here what is given? The type of reason. Which reason? Why her husband divorced her? This reason is not known. Okay. We were shown the hall. Which hall? In which? See here, in which this combination preposition plus the relative pronoun has come, in which Akbar used to hold his court. In which Akbar used to hold his court. This clause is defining the hall. Which hall? In which Akbar used to hold his court. So this is how these are the examples. Now sometimes what happens, the relative pronoun or relative adverb sometimes not expressed but understood. Sometimes that relative pronoun or relative adverb is not expressed here, that we have to understand. He is the man I know very well. Here what should come? Whom I know very well, but it is not given, so we have to understand that it is there, and we have to pick out that this is the adjective clause. Okay, he is the man I know very well. Here this whom is dropped. Such very rare sentences will come. After that, this is the man I want. This is the man that I want. So that will come here, that I want means that is present here but not directly, it is dropped. So we have to understand that that is present here, and this is adjective clause. This is defining the noun man. This clause is defining the noun man again. He tore all the kites his son had collected. Now you see these group of words. This is a clause. Only which this pronoun is absent here means it is dropped. He tore all the kites. Which kites? Which his son had collected. So this adjective clause is defining the noun the kites. Now on the day he was married, his father died. On the day, here when is absent, when. So this we have to understand, it is present. On the day when he was married, his father died. So when he was married, this adjective clause is defining its antecedent, on antecedent the day, the day. Now the reason I have come is to ask for your class notes. So here you see the reason why I have come. Here the reason why I have come. Okay, this is telling which reason, not what reason. What is the reason? Reason is to ask for your class notes. This is the reason. So here this clause is telling which reason, this reason. So this is defining to the noun reason. So this is adjective clause. This is how our adjective clause is. If you have any doubts, you can ask. Now it is time for exercise. I am giving you 10 sentences in which you have to pick out the adjective clause in following sentences and say which noun or pronoun in the main clause it qualifies. Means a noun or pronoun, the adjective clause qualifies. Adjective clause qualifies means it describes a noun or pronoun in the main clause. So you have to tell, you have to underline the adjective clause, as well as you have to tell which noun or pronoun it qualifies or defines. So this is how the exercise is. If you have any doubts, you can ask. So have fun. Take care. Thank you so much.